Ricochet and Will Ospreay opened the 5-year anniversary show with this match. I know we were very vocal about how we felt about this match announcement, and I take nothing back. I mean, we went viral on social media because of how we went about exclaiming our displeasure for why this match was announced. I take nothing back. I still feel the same way even coming into this. I did watch the sit-down between Will Ospreay and Ricochet. Jesse, did you happen to catch that sit-down with Renee Paquette?
I did not.
I thought it was a good precursor to what we were getting today. And my question, as always, to everybody in AEW is, why don't we see that type of shit on Dynamite? Why do I have to go and seek it out on YouTube, which does nothing for anybody? Dynamite is your A show. Everything should filter through the A show. Not on Rampage, not on Collision, not on X, not on TikTok, not on YouTube. On Dynamite. Why didn't we get this last week on Dynamite? Because that would have been a great way to have everybody get excited and open people's eyes about what the problem is between Will Ospreay and Ricochet for tonight's match. You did nothing. You didn't do that. You didn't take the proper steps to tell the proper story. So we come into this match tonight ice fucking cold. And the only thing that Tony Khan has coming into this match is that 2 toys that he recently purchased, one earlier in the year with Will Ospreay and Ricochet 4 weeks ago. He's putting them in the ring together, and I could just envision Tony Khan with the puppet strings just fucking having his toys dance about in the ring. That's what I saw watching this. This was basically Tony Khan putting 2 of his most expensive toys out on the 5-year show and asking them, go wrestle. That's all I felt.
Yeah, there was just nothing. They went out there and basically just gave us the highlights of their last match. I mean, only just done when they're not as athletic as they were when they did them originally. There was no real heat there. There was no real interest there. The crowd wasn't really that much into it. You know, it should have been the kind of moment that we got when Bryan and Omega stood off, and you can tell they tried to do that. They tried to give us the holy shit chant, at the start of the match, but it was like 4 people. Like, holy shit. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right. It just wasn't there.
No.
The excitement just wasn't there, and I felt like it was an easy setup. Now when they do this match again, it has so much less aura around it because they already did it tonight, and it was so lackluster, man. I mean, for what we got tonight, this is the exact reason why I wanted more story and more build to the first Ricochet Ospreay match in AEW.
And nobody will see what we tried to explain last week because everybody's blinded by and brainwashed by Tony Khan. They book matches for the sickos. They don't give a shit. Everything that they do is absolutely 100% correct, and they don't want to hear any criticism whatsoever. Now, I'm going to be open and honest with you guys just like I always am. I watched Ricochet for the last 7 years, all through his last days on the Indies, all through his NXT run, and all through his WWE run. We know exactly what Ricochet is capable of. And I don't know if it's just a JD thing, but when I watch Ricochet the last 4 weeks in AEW, outside of that all-in gauntlet match where he looked so happy to be there, he looked excited, he looked rejuvenated and refreshed. Ever since that Wembley show, every time we've seen Ricochet in the ring, it almost feels like he is wrestling sad. Now, what I mean by that is he doesn't have the same dynamic punch. He doesn't have the same oomph. It feels like he is just going through the motions and he's not happy to be there. There's no intensity in anything Ricochet does. It's almost like he lost his fucking puppy and he's moping around sad. That's the way he's wrestling. So that's the first thing that I noticed. Number 2, how many times have I come on this channel and told you there is nothing like a Will Ospreay match? Will Ospreay is the greatest pro wrestler on the face of the planet right now, number 1 in the world. There is nothing like a Will Ospreay match. I got this match tonight. Do you know what I felt watching a Will Ospreay match against Ricochet? I felt absolutely nothing. Tony put this match out there ice fucking cold. And I'm talking directly to Tony Khan, and I'm talking to anybody in that company right now listening to me, whether it's Will Ospreay himself, Ricochet, or people that work on that fucking writing team. I'm telling you this myself right now. This year, Will Ospreay, nobody touches Will Ospreay. The matches that he's given us, MJF 60 minutes, Swerve at Forbidden Door, the one against Takeshita, the one against Bryan. Absolute. Will Ospreay is going to be fucking taking over the top 10 for matches of the year. Everything we've seen of him this year, you would expect that Ricochet and Will Ospreay would have a match on even with everything that he's done this year. Do you know where this match is going to be? Not in the top 10. Everything that they did tonight felt flat. Everything that they did tonight was emotionless. And you want to know what I really saw? I saw two guys go out there and force themselves to have a match that had no fucking story behind it whatsoever. And it really exposed not only Ricochet, but what Tony Khan has done to this roster. You put Will Ospreay out there, who has a fucking great match with a fucking mannequin he could have a great match with. You put him there against Ricochet. You know what you did, Tony? Without even fucking knowing you did it, you exposed Ricochet, because everything that Will Ospreay's done this year, you put him in the ring with Ricochet, and they can't deliver a fucking match that we've seen Will Ospreay deliver 1,000 fucking times over. Ricochet was exposed tonight because everything that you've done before Ricochet comes on into AEW. What makes him special on this roster? What makes Ricochet stand out amongst this roster? Why did you need Ricochet when you got Will Ospreay, who does everything Ricochet does 10 times over? Garbage. Ricochet is not special in AEW. Ricochet will never be special in AEW. And Ricochet, from this point on, is never going to live up to what Tony Khan has done and built around Ricochet, because there's 1,000 other fucking Ricochets. So fucking sad. It's fucking sad. It was a very opportunistic moment for TK to bring in Ricochet and probably go ahead and do what we suggested last week and turn him heel, make him a mortal enemy of Will Ospreay. Start right there. Then you can start building in some heel shit. Give Ricochet and his crew some really fucked up shit to do to Will Ospreay. Let them build to that first match in AEW and make it something that we really, really want to sink our fucking teeth into, man. Because we've seen, look, you can look at Ricochet's booking in WWE. You're just not going to get this guy over by putting him in the ring and hitting the bell. It's just not going to work. He's not Adam Cole. He just can't just ring the fucking bell. It doesn't work like that, man. Ricochet, you got to help him out a little bit. Once you ring the bell, he's going to give you everything that you fucking ask of him and more. It's great. But right now, we need story. We need something else to sink our teeth into with Ricochet. And just him running out there and saying, I beat the Beast Mortos, where's my title shot? That's not enough. That's just not enough. Turn this guy heel. It should be, the dynamic between Ricochet and Will Ospreay right now should be the same, the exact same as it is with Swerve and Hangman. That's what it should be. These guys should be destined to fight forever. Why? Because every time they get into the ring, it's pure magic. Every time we get Swerve and Hangman, pure magic. Every time we should have gotten Ricochet and Will Ospreay, it should have been pure magic to go along with the story. Look at the story they're giving us with Swerve and Hangman. My God, they want to kill each other, and we can't wait till they go to do it again. I just saw a Will Ospreay and Ricochet match, and right now I'm in no hurry to see another one, man. Absolutely not. They think that this is how stupid their fan base is, and this is how stupid Tony Khan is. He thinks that we all know. I know because I do commentary for House of Glory, so I know these fucking stupid statistics. And Ricochet is probably going to end up working with House of Glory anyway by the fucking time the end of the year comes through. So Ricochet, he hasn't wrestled Will Ospreay since 2017. Their first match, I believe, was in 2012. I don't give a shit where these matches took place. I don't give a shit what they did in these matches. I don't care what they did on the independent scene. Do you know what I care about? What they do in AEW. You can build a dialogue based off the last 12 years between Will Ospreay and Ricochet if you so want. Fine. Develop some some charisma and some intensity and develop some dialogue and some story between what they've been through, who they were then and who they are now, why Ricochet came to AEW. That's all great. But if you don't build a story around that and expect us to basically care because these two wrestled in 2015 in front of fucking 20 people at some armory somewhere, I mean, you're absolutely fucking demented if you think someone's going to give a shit about that. How many people care about that? How many people know? Nobody knows. You're just seeing this. How many people are just seeing this match now for a first time tonight? That's what you need. Those are the people you need to captivate. Make people care. Who cares about this match? Genuinely, who cares about this match? Nobody. And this is how you treat two of your top guys. You go into this match ice cold. And I said everything I said about how Ricochet and Will Ospreay came off. I stand on that. Clip it. Do what you want with it. I don't give a shit. That's how I felt about this match. And everything that Jesse said 2 weeks ago, last week even, everything I said 2 weeks ago, it stands. Do I care to see a Will Ospreay Ricochet match like Jesse said? I don't give a shit about a second match. I seen all I needed to see. In fact, I saw what I saw tonight, and I saw everything that happened in this match 4 fucking times already with Will Ospreay in every other match that he fucking wrestled.
Yes.
This is what you want? This is the type of shit. This is for the sickos, right? All I saw was flips and acrobatics and all this other shit that we see fucking Hologram do on Saturday night. And Beast Mordos do every fucking week. And every fucking luchador that Tony Khan wants to hire and rent and bring on in here. What makes Ricochet stand out? Do you know Will Ospreay can do all this shit times 10? And he knows it, and we all know it. Do you want to know when Will Ospreay was at his best? When he wrestled Takeshita, when he wrestled Bryan, when he wrestled MJF, because every one of those matches, especially the MJF one, MJF brought out something that Will Ospreay hasn't had this year and certainly didn't have tonight, and that's fucking emotion. They made you fucking care. They made you go into that match not knowing what the fuck was going to happen over 60 minutes, and we saw Will Ospreay wrestle. He didn't flip, he didn't dive, he didn't fucking try and fake some acrobatics because it's Ricochet. They made you care based on their body of work instead of wowing everybody. That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks of Ricochet Will Ospreay. The match was fine for what it was, but it's sad as to how we got here and how fans just fucking jump over the moon for this shit, and there's nothing there to be excited about. Nothing. I don't want to see a second match. It's over. The second first. How many times have I said a first impression makes everything? First match makes everything. Yep. Story makes everything going into that first match. And then after that, it makes you want to see the second match and maybe a third match. We got no story coming into this. We saw everything that we need to see. What do you think they're going to do in the second match? Everything that they did in the first match. And then there's not even going to be a good enough story to go into the second match for us to care about because there was nothing going into the first one.
Yep.
How do you look at that and say that's all right? How do you look at that and say, good job, Tony? Thumbs up, man. Come on, man.
Yep. I'm gonna recruit Ricochet into the Don Callis family. I'm gonna have Don Callis convince Ricochet that this spot fest flippy stuff that he's doing is not the correct style. He needs to go to a more strong style, brawler based. I'm gonna have, because of Don Callis, have Ricochet change up his style and make him a heel and make Ospreay fight him in a different kind of match. Not a technical match, a brawler match and everything else. And at the end of the run, when I'm ready to turn Ricochet back to babyface, what I'm going to do is make Callis even more of a heel for not letting Ricochet do the high flyer stuff that the fans want him to do. Make it a slow return, almost kind of like Otis and Gable. How Otis wants to act a certain way, but Gable didn't want him to. Same thing. Don Callis wants Ricochet to work a different style and not be a high flyer. And so at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, that's another avenue to take to turn him back to babyface. I think he might benefit from the same thing we said about Roman for years. Give him a good heel run, and let's try to turn him back to babyface, because this is straight white meat babyface gimmick just does not work for Ricochet.
No, what I'm doing here with these guys is I'm having them, and we'll get to the end of this match here, we'll have them team up and go up against Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, because that's what we saw here in the closing segment of this match. I'm not even going to go over it because there wasn't really anything to cry home about. I mean, you saw one Ricochet match. You saw everything that you saw in this match. There's no different than what you saw here. They legitimately pulled out nothing different. Will Ospreay, this was probably one of Will Ospreay's weakest performances. If you base everything else on what he's done this year to this match does not live up to anything he's done this year. So at the end of this thing, Ricochet kicked out of an Os cutter. He then ducked a hidden blade and connected with one of his own hidden blades before going up top and hitting a shooting star press for a near fall. Pump kick spiked Ospreay, who floated over Vertigo into a poison Rana, one that Ricochet answered with one of his own. Ospreay desperately fired off a hidden blade and then collapsed on top of Ricochet. But the way Will Ospreay collapsed on Ricochet, his lower half was spread across Ricochet's body, but Ricochet's shoulders were down, as was Ospreay. So the way he was covering Ricochet, his shoulders were also down on the mat for a 3 count. So Rick Knox, who was the official of this match, counted 1, 2, 3, and counted both guys down, and the match ended up being a draw, which obviously, as you would expect, draw boos from the Pittsburgh crowd. So both men get up. Justin Roberts then gets on the microphone and was informed that he was speaking to Tony Khan via his earpiece, and that Tony Khan said that this match will continue. The bell rings. They get into a brawl in the middle of the ring, throwing fists back and forth. Ospreay hit a hidden blade. He goes for the pin, and then all of a sudden, Konosuke Takeshita runs out and causes a DQ. Takeshita took out Ospreay with a power drive knee, and Ospreay is out. Ricochet gets hit with a roaring elbow and a Falcon Arrow from Takeshita. He then took the international title, held it high as Ricochet and Ospreay were laying on the floor, and he stood in between them holding the international championship up in the air. So my question is, why did Tony decide that this match would go to a double pin draw only to restart the match and then have the crowd kind of tease, all right, we'll get another match, man. They're going to go another 15 minutes, and we're going to get a real winner here. Only to disappoint the crowd again, take it away, and then send Takeshita out there to cause a DQ. Why didn't they do the Takeshita run-in the first time without doing the restart of the match?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing, bro?
Yeah. You gave them a disappointed, then teased that you weren't going to disappoint them, and then doubled down and gave them another one. Just one disappointment would have been fine. I mean, you shouldn't have booked the match. That's why I said, hashtag Jesse was right, because you booked yourself into a corner. It was going to be a fuck finish, and there you go. Then you corrected it, and then said, nah, we'll do it again. Twice you got booed by the same match. That was not a good look. That was very, very poor. It would have sucked enough to get the fuck finish, but it was expected. It was expected, but then you teased him that you weren't going to give him a fuck finish, then gave him one anyway. That was a bad idea. That was a very bad idea.
Whoever thought that was a good creative move and the right outcome to this match, you fucked up. That was absolutely amateur hour if I ever saw one. Why didn't he just go right to Takeshita to cause the DQ? That would have been so much better than disappointing the fans after getting their hopes up after a rematch and then disappointing them in the end after 3 minutes. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? 5-year anniversary. That's what you think of the fans that pay money to see this shit? Come on, bro. Fucking amateur hour. If you don't think AEW is struggling creatively, just look at the ending of this fucking match. No story going into it, and they botched the fucking finish. Ridiculous. Takeshita looks like he is getting ready for a push. Now, there was a tease potentially of Takeshita and Okada. I don't know. Maybe they kind of derailed those plans and are holding off on that till the Continental Classic potentially. But Fightful is reporting that Takeshita is in line for a major push. Now, this report came 3 hours before Dynamite. Takeshita's been appearing in main events and facing off with numerous top stars, says Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. Fightful Select is told that this isn't an accident, and Takeshita is expected to get a big push very soon that will see him factored into a major program. We're told that as things stand right now, it would be the biggest push he's seen in AEW and hopefully further establish him as an upper card talent. Those that we've spoken to claim that this could take place within the next 2 weeks and lead to an important pay-per-view spot, which we saw tonight with the amateur ending to this match. Jesse, I know you said that you would put Ricochet into the Don Callis family. I actually like that idea a lot. I would say that we get Ospreay and Ricochet coming together for a little temporary alliance up against Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. I think that would be a solid tag team match after what happened tonight. And then we get that Ricochet that we got in that sit down with Renee Paquette, who's just kind of steaming over the fact that Will Ospreay considers himself better, and Ospreay calls Ricochet little bro. And all this competitive nature between these two. Ricochet obviously takes this to heart, and he doesn't agree with Ospreay. Ospreay, even in the interview with Renee, kind of reamed him about disappearing for 6 years, meaning that he went to WWE while Ospreay flourished and Ricochet forgot who he was and lost his way. Ricochet has a lot of anger about this. I would love to see what you brought to the table with him joining the Don Callis family. After we get that tag team match, the alliance would be there and nothing would be like kind of amiss. But then we get to the pay-per-view where Ospreay and Takeshita square off, and then Ricochet second guesses himself and says, you know what? I don't want to team with this guy. I don't want to be second fiddle to this guy. I don't want to be this guy's support system. I'm better than him. Turns on Ospreay, joins the Don Callis family, helps Takeshita win the International Championship. And not only do we get Takeshita with the International Championship, which, by the way, is 2 years in the fucking making. I don't know why they didn't decide this fucking 3 years ago. And Ricochet, who needs badly some sort of makeup or makeover, have him turn heel. I think he would be better off with Don Callis' representation. I think that would be the right way to go.
No, it would. It would. I know we suggested that one first, and then we looked at possibly the Hurt Business, but no, the Callis family makes sense. There's already a connection there with Will Ospreay and Fletcher and everything else. Ospreay was in the Don Callis family. He ended up leaving. And Callis, since he can't get Ospreay and keep Ospreay there and happy, go after Ricochet. Make him his mortal enemy. Bro, you can torment Will Ospreay with the Don Callis family for, my God, a year. I mean, it's a faction versus one guy. And he's a babyface and he doesn't need help. I mean, they can just constantly harass this guy led by Ricochet, who is going to get that rub for being the guy front and center as the guy that's just giving fucking Will Ospreay all he can handle. And to the point where it comes to a head at a big fucking venue and everything else. Big payoff, fantastic shit, great story being told because it's the connection with the Callis family and Ospreay. Great. And maybe they're going that way. You know, it's not coincidence that Callis and Fletcher are, oh, we got to leave. Now the show just started. Oh, we got to catch a plane. Motherfucker, the show just started, and we get Rampage tapings. Where are you going?
We got break. We got news in the chat. Apparently, they already signed a triple threat match at Wrestle Dream between Will Ospreay, Konosuke Takeshita, and Ricochet.
Yeah, I kind of figured they were going that way, since Takeshita attacked both of them.
So what does that mean? Does Takeshita pin Ricochet to win the title?
I don't know. Give me a second to process this one, and I'm not sure what they do because now
there's nothing in this company, you know, just fucking breathe. I mean, do they develop any fucking story? Like, why are you going to do this outcome and then all of a sudden just forget next week? You got all next week to build a fucking story.
Because now here's the thing. Someone has to lose that match. Did anyone think this went through? Someone has to lose that match. Is Will Ospreay losing that title to Takeshita? Is Ricochet going to lose his first match here? What are we doing? What are we doing? I think they booked themselves into another fucking corner. Unless they come to a collaboration right then and there to turn Ricochet heel, they fucked themselves again.
Well, let's think this out. Ricochet. Well, let's start with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay doesn't mind putting anybody over. He's just that type of guy.
No, absolutely not.
It's Tony Khan who, you know, it's his toy. He doesn't want it broken, so he's not going to go out there and willingly book Will Ospreay to lose the International Championship after he just put it on him at All In last month. So we have that aspect. Ricochet just got here. I don't think giving him a loss is what he really needs right now. And Takeshita How many times could we see him lose after fans have cried that he should be bigger and higher than he is right now?
He can't lose right now.
So where exactly are we going? Is Ricochet turning heel like we already discussed? And, is he going to turn his back on Will Ospreay? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if you turn him during the match, he's going to sit there and be beating the crap out of Takeshita in the middle of it.
Does he not want the international championship? Is that not important to him?
Is he going to help? Maybe he just okay, fine. Maybe he just helps Takeshita win because he just wants to take it from Ospreay and
which is basically the same thing that we did with Swerve and Adam Page in their triple threat match with Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Are we running into that same situation here, where Adam Page tapped out so Swerve wouldn't win the championship? Is that the kind of thinking that they're doing? Is Ricochet going to tap out or willingly get beat and have Takeshita win the championship so Ospreay doesn't have it anymore?
Does Takeshita win the title in the match clean, and then we end up with Ospreay and Ricochet as a tag team, and they defeat the Bucks for the tag team titles at some point after that? Let them be tag team champions and let them get that energy together, and then separate them, turn them heel, after they're tag team champions or during or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Why would they book this fucking triple threat match like that?
I don't know. There's legitimately zero patience. There's not an ounce of fucking patience in this entire company. Ross, what's up, brother? Kicking it with Ross in the chat. He says, "What's good, fellas?"
Ross, why'd they book this triple threat match, man? Where are they going with Ricochet, bro?
If you guys are just joining us, Ricochet, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita are in a triple threat match at Wrestle Dream. I don't know.
Maybe they have a plan.